Honestly, what have they done? This is the most pathetic update I've seen for a game in a little while now. Outriders have done similar stuff where they take weeks and weeks and weeks, and then the patch notes are just like there's nothing to them. Granted, this has only taken a week and a half. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance has its first update, but my god, it's just so confusing. They have nothing streamlined. Like, there's no simplicity to this at all. And when I say that, what I mean by it is if you go to their Twitter, they have tweeted saying that the update is available across all platforms. I was actually playing the game and recording a video at the time they released it, so I dashboarded, the update was there, blah blah blah. It says on their Twitter, thanks to the feedback from our community, we've made updates to the latest version of Dark Alliance with more on the way. This update is currently rolling out to all platforms and players. Learn more. So you open the link in a new tab to learn more, and where does it take you? It just takes you to their Steam store page. There is nothing there from it. So what you have to do on the Steam store page is scroll down, and on the right hand side underneath the list of achievements, the rating for the game, the languages and all that sort of stuff, you have view update history or read related news. So I'm going to do read related news. You click on the patch notes and there are 7 things that they have changed after all of the complaints. And they say at the very beginning of this, thank you for all your dedication to Dark Alliance. Excuse me, on Steam you peaked at 9,800 players all time. Your most in the last 24 hours is 1,500 players. The game isn't even 2 weeks old and it's dead. So looking at the patch notes, because they did say on their Twitter on the 25th of June, so 3 days after release, they tweeted, we are continuing to work on solutions to address additional bugs. Thank you to the players who have reported issues so far. You can report any issues that you encounter here. So in the patch notes, how many fixes have they made? There's not fixes. There's improvements to certain things. So, improvements to multiplayer latency. I don't care. I'm not going to try this game multiplayer unless other people can guarantee that it works. I'm not putting my friends through a really hard time. Voice chat remains enabled after returning to Kelvin's cairn. So, pretty much returning to camp, voice chat is going to stay enabled. That should have been in from launch. Improvements to camera lock-on. Improvements to the user interface. I'm only standing in camp, but I don't see a difference. Improvements to teleporting attacks made by enemies. I'm not too far into the game, so I wouldn't know about that one. Instances where progression is blocked when a player respawns as a boss dies has been fixed. So one actual fix. And then balance changes and tethering improvements. So which balances have they made? There is no description for any of these changes. There are 7, and this patch was 4 gig on Xbox for 7 changes. 4 gigabytes. That alone is ridiculous. But the improvements to multiplayer latency. Check your servers and stuff before you launch your game. Voice chat remaining enabled after returning to camp. Should be in the game at launch by default. Improvements to camera lock-on, again, QA. You should be testing all this sort of stuff. Improvements to the UI, again, should be testing it. Improvements to teleporting attacks made by enemies, that's a balance change. Instances where progression is blocked, how many more games are going to have stupid progression blockers? And then balance changes and tethering improvements. I'm sorry, but I don't care if your game is new, it's your first ever release. You need to go into depth and tell players what things you've changed to balance everything out. You can't just say balance changes. We don't know if they're buffs, nerfs, if the enemies have been made stronger in certain areas, if they're weaker. Players like creating strategies, especially for an ARPG. Dungeon crawlers, RTS, looter shooters, all those sorts of genres, players like having strategies. There's a reason games have speedruns. If you go on The Division 2, you will learn the spawns of enemies. If you go on Outriders and do the expeditions, you will learn the spawns of enemies so that you can run through them. This game has endgame dungeons that players will want to run through. You need to explain what has been changed. And tethering improvements, I'm going to have to play the game and see for myself. But improvements to the user interface. So on this screen at camp you don't see anything. Let's just have a very quick look in the inventory before we wrap this one up. I am not impressed at all with this update. It almost seems pointless. And a week and a half after launch this is all you've got. I recommend getting your arse in gear and actually fixing some of the issues. Just to give the AI a brain for a start. That would be one thing that would actually be quite good. But let's jump into the inventory. I mean, they haven't sped it up on like getting into the inventory. It's still got a bit of a delay to get in there. But it's not a major change. That's just pretty much nitpicking. But it all seems exactly the same. What have they actually changed? I only know what it looks like because I had to dashboard the game I was currently playing when they released the update. And this is classed as user interface. They haven't changed. See what I mean? Like, they possibly have made changes here and there. That's another thing as well. We'll go through my entire journal. There's tablets there. And then we'll go through that. And that's the last tab, yeah? There's absolutely nothing there. But if you look at the top journal, oh, it's still saying I have new stuff. So again, with the user interface improvements, where are the improvements? I don't see any difference. They need to go into depth and explain what they have actually changed. Because yes, these improvements or these notes can be seen as categories, then you would need subcategories or some form of content and context inside each of the categories. Because I could just go out and upload a video and go, this is a video. I uploaded a video. Look at this video. Watch this video. It doesn't explain anything. You need to tell people what's going on. But as it stands, 7 changes. In order to find out what's actually changed, you have to go to their Twitter or just go onto Steam. If you're on Twitter, like click on the Learn More link that they've shared. Then scroll down, read the relevant news or whatever. Check out the update history, then look at the patch notes. You have to look at these patch notes through Steam. I feel they could do so much better with this. There are so many more changes they need to make, like the one-shotting when you're playing solo. Like the fire pits, some of them aren't on fire, there's no visible fire, yet it still damages you. There are lots of changes, and I'm barely into this game at all. I've played a few hours of it. And I can already name issues that need fixing, but they probably haven't paid attention. They've just made a couple of bare bones changes and gone, oh, there you go, there's a patch. I hope you're happy now. So yeah, that's my little rant on the Dark Alliance patch as well. You can't even really call it a patch. The 7 changes to Dark Alliance. I'm going to continue playing this game, kind of hoping that they've broken some stuff so I can get some extra footage from it. I mean, knowing game developers these days, it really wouldn't surprise me. But that's going to do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.